Alright, the first cube that I ever bought was this original 3x3 Rubik's Cube invented by Rubik. And no cube collection is really complete without a 3x3 original cube. As you can tell, the cube is pretty beat up. I've had it for about a year and a half, and it doesn't look this way because it's old, but because I sprayed it with a silicone spray that has petroleum distillates in it. And anything that has petroleum distillates will basically disintegrate your internal plastic and also destroy your stickers and make them look something like this. So if you want to lubricate your cube, use 100% silicone. Try to stay away from the petroleum distillates. The first time I ever solved this cube was March 1st of 2007. It was not the first cube I ever solved. The first cube that I ever solved was a keychain cube. And I used to have a keychain cube that I never mixed up, and one day my friend decided to mix it up, and that's when I decided that I wanted to learn how to solve it, and that's how I got into cubing. So the first time that I broke 1 minute with this cube was back in April 16th of 07. So that's about a month and a half from the day that I bought it. So give yourself about a month to 2 months to get within a minute. And after I was able to solve it within a minute, I then went on to the 4x4 Rubik's Cube. Solving the 4x4 was pretty intuitive for me, and I figured it out within the first day. I figured out how to do the centers and the edges. I needed a little bit of help with the parity. But overall, I was able to pretty much do it, most of it myself. This cube is pretty good. It's a little bit sticky. If you turn it, if you take a look, it gets stuck a lot of times, and these edge pieces do pop out. So the cube itself is pretty good. I'm sure I think they make them a little bit better now. They retooled the 4x4 and 5x5. So I believe the first time that I solved that, I got 11 minutes. I got around 11 minutes. And then I was able to gradually get it down. Actually, the same day I did it for a while, and I got it down to 4 minutes and 41 seconds. So if you're just starting out and you're solving it in 20 minutes, give yourself a little bit of time, solve it more, and you'll eventually get it down that first day, probably within half the time that you got it the first time you solved it. So overall, this cube has been pretty good. The stickers, I think, held up better than they did on this cube because I didn't spray this one with the petroleum distillates. So after I was able to solve this cube within around, I think 3 minutes, I then went on to the 5x5 Rubik's Cube Professor. And this is the first Professor that I ever purchased. As you can tell, it's pretty beat up as well. Some of the stickers on some of the sides don't peel, and then some of the ones on the other sides do. So I have 3 sides that are peeling and 3 sides that are pretty decent, which is kind of weird. But anyway, I had to crazy glue these stickers back on, and I broke this piece here. But this was one of my favorite 5x5 cubes to solve. It was actually really good at turning. But instead of buying a new piece from CubeSmith, which I didn't know about back then, I just went on to buy a new cube since I broke that piece. So this is basically the same exact model of the Rubik's Professor. It's not the exact same one that they have out now, which they retooled. And I'll show you what I got from the Rubik's company in a little bit. So after I was able to solve the 5x5, I believe the first time that I ever solved it I got around 12 minutes. And then I was able to gradually get it down. Within like a week or so, I got it down to around 9 minutes. And then within 2 months, I got it down to 6. And around 5.5 in about 2.5 months. So give yourself some time, keep practicing, and you'll eventually drop the time down. After I was able to solve the 5x5, the 4x4, the 3x3, I had the whole Rubik's family, I decided to give the East Sheen cubes a try. So these are basically cubes that are made in China, and they're pretty decent cubes actually for speed solving. They turn pretty well. And they're actually a lot cheaper than the Rubik's brand. Now this cube is really a lot smaller than this 5x5, as you'll see. This cube is actually close to being the same size as the 3x3. So the 5x5 East Sheen cube and the 4x4 East Sheen cube are exactly the same size. And I got these both from China. And it took around 3 to 4 weeks to get it. I remember waiting for it for a while, so don't order from China. This cube here is broken. I dropped it and the axis centerpiece, it cracked off, and I actually crazy glued it back on. So it still spins pretty nicely, but you can see that this is actually broken here. So I don't really use this cube too much anymore. I decided to go on and buy another set of another East Sheen 5x5 cube, and this time I bought it from Puzzle Pros. And this cube is really good. I still use this cube a lot, which is why it's more worn down than the older one. And I also bought a 3x3 do-it-yourself cube. So when you get the East Sheen cubes, you'll actually get them in these little boxes. Depending on which model you get, you could probably get it with the plastic as well. And it does come with instructions on how to put it back together, because they are do-it-yourself cubes. So the do-it-yourself 3x3 that I bought from Puzzle Pros was a really good buy. This cube is really good. It's quick, it spins nicely, and once you lubricate it with a little bit of silicone spray, it spins really nicely. Let me show you guys. So it's a really good cube, and I'm glad I bought it. So after I bought that, then you know that I bought the V cubes, the 6 and the 7. So if you haven't already checked out the V cube reviews that I gave an in-depth review of the ups and downs of the V cube 6 and 7, which you can find on my page. Alright, so after Mr. Jones featured my videos on the Academy section of the Rubiks.com website, they sent me this package as a thank you, basically. I have already opened it and played around with some of the stuff inside, but it's in brand new condition, and I packaged it just the way it was when I first got it. So the first thing that I got was a Rubik's tote bag, which is really cool. I would definitely use this if I went to a competition and wanted to bring some of my cubes and other stuff like that. I also got a Rubik's Championship t-shirt. It's the World Championship 2007. Has all these cool logos and stuff. So I haven't actually gotten the chance to wear this yet, but I'm definitely going to pretty soon. I also got a Rubik's pen, which is brand new. I haven't opened anything yet. And I got a Rubik's keychain also. And of course I got the keychain cube, which is the first cube that I ever solved. Not this one, of course, but this is the first kind of cube that I ever solved. As you can see, it's teeny, and it's really not the first cube that you want to be solving, but it was fun. And of course they gave me a brand new retooled 5x5 Rubik's Cube Professor. Now this is totally different than the one I was showing you before, which is now in a big pile over here. It is a retooled Professor. So what that means is that they changed the mechanism on the inside and everything like that. The stickers are also different. You'll notice opposite white is blue, not yellow. Yellow is actually over here, opposite green. So that's the one thing that's different. It's also a lot smoother. As you can see, I could turn these two layers really gently, and they'll spin really fast. So that's different. So the cube overall is a lot better than the older Rubik's Cube. This has become one of my favorite speed cubes, basically. I solved this 5x5 over the East Sheen now, actually, and I get pretty decent times with it. And as you can see, the stickers are not peeling at all on this cube, so they're different stickers as well. Alright guys, so that's basically my cube collection and the new package that I got from Rubiks.com. So, as always, you can check out the review for the V-Cubes, and I'm also planning on doing a tutorial for the V-Cube 6 coming up soon. So, check that out when I get it, and also subscribe for a notification of my videos. Alright guys, thanks for watching.